This is W2FJH bringing up the STNY digital voicemail on Grandma's Truck with 31367, wires X from 83721, and on Zoom. The primary purpose of the STNY digital voicemail is to help foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. Well, it's primarily for the southern tier. All stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Again, the call is Whiskey 2, Foxtrot Juliet Hotel, and name here is Frank. Well, first, you can stand by for any stations with emergency or priority traffic. Please call now. Okay, nothing heard yet. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this event, please give your call sign followed by the word break spoken 2 times. Please leave a 4 to 5 second pause between transmissions for braking stations or for those who wish to disconnect the software. This is a direct net, and the format will follow announcements, questions, and comments. This net utilizes NetLogger, which can be found at netlogger.org. NetLogger is not required, and we will take additional voice checking. For more information about this net or to join the Zoom meeting, please visit stnydmr.net. That's Sierra Tango November Yankee Delta Mike Romeo.net. You can also find us on 73.net. That's Sierra Echo Victor Echo November numeric number 3.net. This net will prioritize short-time mobile in and out or emergency power stations, followed by NetLogger checking, followed by voice checking. We currently do not have any stations checked in through NetWater. So when checking in, please give your call sign, your name, and your location. So let's take a standby for any stations that are short time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power. Please call now. Okay, nothing heard there. So let's open it up to any station that would like to check in this evening. Please call now. Then two NCB, Paul, Owego, New York. N2 QSD, Mel, Forest, New York. All right, and we have N2NCD, Paul, and N2QFD, Mel. Are there any other stations going this evening? Please call now. Yeah, it's 6IG. I think I keep building on here. In California. Well, you made it through that time, John. So we'd never like to recognize AI6IG as well. All right, let's kick things off. If there's any announcements for this week, please call now. Okay, nothing heard there, so let's move on. If there's any questions for this week, please call now. All right, nothing heard there either. So we will jump right into comments. And I was hoping that Mick and JP make it would join us this week because the net topic actually came from him. He posed a question on 7-3 there. They were looking for some hot spots for his local club, and he was going to make some recommendations, and he didn't know some hot spots to choose there. So, me personally, I've had just an experience with MMDVM 5-star hotspots, and yeah, I can't really complain about that. I've known is what I've been using. But I know there's also certain ones like jumbo spots and open spots and other devices out there that sometimes do more than what the MMDDM goes do. So the main topic this week is there's any hotspot recommendations. So, all right, we will kick things off. And first on our list is entering to be Paul. How was your week there?
Logan, Frank, and all into NCB here. Well, we didn't too bad. Managed to make some uh, contacts. The bands have not been well, but I think there were 2 days I didn't manage to make at least one contact in those days. But then here the other day I made up for lost time. And I had something rather interesting that never happened to me before. Um, I went to turn off my power supply last night in the shack, and I have it set up where I have a remote light switch and a light that lets me know that the power supply is on if the light is on. I went to turn it off, and nothing happened. Kept flipping the switch, and nothing happened. So I reached down and unplugged stuff. Tackled that little mystery this morning, and after I take the faceplate off and got the screws out to take the switch out to see what's going on, it fell into pieces, literally. The front was off. The contacts stuff was falling out of there in the back, and just never had that happen before. It was an easy fix. Just went down and got another switch, but I was certainly not expecting to see that. That's for sure. And I was also glad that I unplugged. So if somehow I failed between turning it on and going to turn it off. So anything else? No, I guess that's it from this end. Back to you, Frank. 7-3 all into NCB.
Yeah, wow, that doesn't sound too good there, Paul. You'd hope like when they fail a little more gracefully than that and just fall apart and keeping the current on. That's really bad. You gotta turn it off and the current's still flowing through it. But I'm gonna send it back to you there, Paul, just for I don't think you mentioned any hotspot recommendations, if you had any. So I'll hand it back over to you there, Paul, if you have any.
Oh, that's right. Well, I kind of look at that as asking a ham or several hams what the best rig is, and when you're trying to buy one, and you're going to get almost as many answers as the people you asked. Um, the one thing that I would suggest, though, is you pick a hotspot or you pick a rig.
Hey, sorry about that, Paul. You cut out, or at least on my end, you cut out right after you said you pick a hot spot or you pick a rig. So um, let me send it back to you again. Hopefully it was just a momentary glitch in the internet or something. Okay, nothing heard there, so we'll circle back to Paul there. So next on our list is N2 of QFD. Now, how was your week there?
And the other hotspot that I'm working on now is the Bridgecom Sky Bridge. But that's just because it came as a package with the rig. But I know there's other ones that you mentioned, and there are some that you can carry with you if you've got a cell phone connected up that you can go merrily on its way. But I just remember maybe I was talking too long. But that would be the thing I would suggest is take a look at the reviews of what you're wanting to get and then go from there. Back to you, Frank, into NCP.
Hey, very good there, Paul. And yeah, I think you cut out a little bit on my end, or I'm not sure if it cut out or if it's just my end or whatever there. But I did pick up that you mentioned the Bridgecom Sky Bridge, and I think you were talking about the Android app called Droidstar. It's always a good alternative for people to listen. All right, next on my list is N2 QFD. Mel, how was your week there? Good, Frank. All cut out on my end too. So hopefully, whatever happened to his power supply is not catching him there in the shack. And yeah, I second what he said. The reviews are kind of what you have to look at. It was a busy solar storm week here, so that could have affected the van. I keep track of it for GPS and the surveyor. And I'm a Pi-Star MMDVM user also. I just built one for my dad. I'm using that tonight. The hang up here has been a Valkyrie 1701 HT. It gets rid of that hot spot. I can see myself in Brandmeister. I can see the receive light come on, but I don't hear any audio coming out of the radio. So I'll have to figure that out. Otherwise, warming up fast in the southern Adirondacks. I bet it is in the southern tier also. When I was down last weekend, you guys are way ahead for the flowers. Here's N2 QFD back again. Hey, very good there, man. And yeah, it is definitely warming up fast. Yesterday was a pretty hot one here. It's going to cool off the house. And mom and baby there had to, they slept out in the living room. It was a lot cooler in there. Her bedroom, Lillian's bedroom was, I, we had a thermostat in there, about 79 degrees. So it wasn't good for baby. She was too hot. So, gotta get the air conditioners in already and gotta clean them out first. And I tell you, chores around the house, it seems like you want to do one thing and you have to do this other thing before the end. You do that, you have to do this other thing, and it turns out to be like six chores just to get one thing done. So, all right, AI6IG, John, you're up next.
Yeah, this is AI6IG out in the Mojave Desert. We're up into the 90s already, and it looks like summer's here, which means in about another month we'll be up in the hundreds. Can't wait. I spent a couple of days getting the evaporative cooler working here. Um, usual springtime ritual. There's always leaks in lines, and you have to replace copper and clean filters and all that stuff. But the house went from 85 to 72, so I'm happy about that. Let me reset here. As far as hot spots go, I bought one called Rugged Spot, which is pretty good, well built, a little expensive, I thought. So I built a second one of my own using a Pi Zero W and the N5 BOC board, which was about, when all was said and done, about half the price. So I'm happy with that. That's what I'm using now. It's a dual hotspot, I guess. It's a separate sender and receive frequencies. I've been real happy with it. It works great for me. And it's a little bit cheaper than buying rugged spots and the other one that Paul mentioned. Other than that, I haven't been doing any HF this week. I've been working around the house and just haven't had time to mess with it. And the last meeting we had here for our club, everybody was mentioning the fact that the solar stones were really messing with people. So I figured, why bother? That's about it for me. Back to that.
Hey, we're good there, John. And yeah, I just jotted that down. N5 BOC boards, and I just took a peek at it really quick. And yeah, I see the boards that are there. But I just think it has three different models. One's, I think it's just a USB flash, just for a stick. I'm guessing so you can run, I think it's called Blue DV. You can run this on your computer and interface directly to your computer. Another simplex board, another duplex board. But yeah, I'm seeing all three of them lined up there, and all of them say out of stock right now. So I'll have to keep an eye on that, or just really composing a list here to make for mix, and so hopefully you can pass it on your phone. So. All right, this is W2FJH, and I have reached the end of my list here for the STNY digital voice net. So let's take a standby. If there's any additional stations you would like to join me this evening, please call now. Okay, nothing heard there, and I did kind of figure this would be a shorter net this evening, with it being such a beautiful day outside today. So let's make this final call here. For any additional stations that would like to join this evening, or any last minute comments, questions, or concerns from any stations that have checked in, please call now.
AI6IG with a comment on the N5 BOC boards. I believe that you can get on his list. He makes his own boards. It's all American chips and American products. He's a younger engineer, and he just does them in small batches. So I think you can get on his list, and he'll notify you when they're available. They have an excellent reputation. Oh, and as far as Paul's board, I just wanted to throw in, if you look at PiStar, you do a search on the net, PiStar comes with some tools, and I had problems with one board once where I could transmit but not receive, and it turned out that the frequency was just a little bit off on the radio and the board. I mean, they just weren't quite matched up right. And there's just some tools that come with PiStar that you can use to, adjust the frequencies on the PiStar board to match your receive on the radio. And I can't remember what the name of the tool is, but there's plenty of information on the net, and it does come with PiStar.
I think so, John, and yeah, I guess being kind of a smaller, basically just an individual business as a small business, I guess he could, basically doing batch mode and just get on the list there. But I think that was actually Mel that said that he was having problems with his Baofeng 1701, if I drive that down correctly. But let me hand it over to him there, and I think what you're referring to is there's a in TiStar, when you go into configurations, there's a frequency offset that some of the RF modules are they may be slightly out. I know you're correct. There's another tool. There's a command line tool that you can actually transmit from your radio, and it will tell you how offset the transmission is. But you're basically in the radio is fine. Then you can offset to make sure the hotspot is on the same frequency. But let me hand it over to Mel there if he seems aware of some of the frequency offsets in the hotspot. So, over to you then, Mel. N2 and QFD and WQFH.
Thank you, guys. Yes, this piece of software built into the TiStar MMDDM Cal, and this is probably the third one I set up. I do it enough that I wrote my own spreadsheet in Excel to just input the high and low frequencies and have it spit out the offset frequency for me. I think it's about frame setting. It could be slightly off frequency, but I'm watching the Baofeng receiving us right now, and it's just not spitting out any audio. So I must have some setting off there, and just got to figure it out. I'm on my Anytone now, which is a much more robust radio, and I went with Baofeng because I thought it would be easier for Dad, but it's going to be harder for me than to QFD back in that.
Yeah, no, I'm betting you're right. I bet it is the Baofeng. I've heard other people having problems getting them set up, but once they're set up, they work well.
Here's N2 QFD on the Baofeng.
Yeah, it's odd. I can get in with it, but I can't hear anything out of it.
WQFH with the STNY digital voice. I did hear another station in there. I'm gonna see if that station is available. I'm not sure if that was the other person, John, that you were trying to set up the radio for. But we'll hand it over to him really quick. So at least the call sign I saw on my screen pop up here was N2NRA, if that's the call sign. So we'll hand it over to him.
Here is N2 QSD transmitting to the radio and setting up for N2 NRA. This is the Baofeng. I'm assuming you guys are hearing me, and I just can't get any audio back out of the radio. N2 QSD back to net.
Okay, we are reading you loud and clear there, John. Sorry, Mal. So it sounds like you're transmitting just fine. Just like I guess you're not seeing audio. I'll make a wise crack here. Are you sure? Are you sure the volume is turned off on it? Hi. But all right, we will close that then, and then we can, if you'd like to use this talk group, we could try to be a little bit after the net here. So. All right, this is WQFH. I'll be closing the net. So I'd like to thank Paul, Mal, John, and Clifton for joining us this evening. I'll throw him on the list since he was on the net. We'll be returning to talk group back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week there. This is WQFH, and I'll be listening.
W2FJH. Here is N2 QSD. Thanks for the confirmation that the radio is transmitting. Clifton is my dad. He's over in Waverly, New York, and I was just setting up a new hotspot and radio set for him. So nice to know his radio made it in.
W2FJH, yeah, no problem at all there. And yeah, it was sounding perfectly fine on my end. I mean, it wasn't like the even the mic gain wasn't, it didn't seem too hot. Might have been a little on the high side, maybe if you tore it down like one notch, but other than that, it's transmitting perfectly fine. But yeah, I guess it's just something on the receiving end that it's not picking up. So is just a quick question: is it just like the LED light is coming on, but it looks like there's nothing on the screen, or do you actually see the contact information and you just don't have any audio?
It appears to be working as it should. I have the LED lighting up. I can see the scroll for Southern Tier DMR, and yeah, I've been tinkering with it for a couple days. I'm sure it's a simple switch that I'm just missing, and I don't know. Yeah, as you said, like volume is up. I think I've hit all the easy things at this point. The code plug is just different enough from my Anytone. Um, but yeah, I can see on my watching my hotspot live too. I'm getting in and I can see that the hotspot's transmitting back. I just don't get any decode audio.
That's the nice thing about any tones. Enough people are using them, and usually I think they're easier to troubleshoot because you've got lots of resources. Yeah, 600.
Yeah, I've been combing through the forums. I have found people that have reported similar problems. Um, but I keep hitting dead ends. I did actually directly reach out to my ham in Texas that reported a similar problem. See if he ever overcame it. Somebody else suggested it could just be a bad make, and maybe I've got a problem with the radio.
Is actually set for the Southern Tier. Uh, the, the channel needs to also have a receive group that contains the Southern Tier in it for it to actually open up the squelch. It was a really odd thing. The G88 to me was one of the more difficult radios to program there for a cold plug. So back to you there.
Yeah, I noticed that the receive group requirement. I ended up building a receive group with the Southern Tier talk group in it. No dice. I still not getting any joy out of it. So I'm not sure. Reached out to him in Texas with a similar problem directly. See if I get an email back. There were suggestions in some of the forums that there's just bad builds out there, which I hope it's not.
Yeah, that is also a possibility. I mean, it has happened. I hate to always just jump to blaming the radio there, but has happened before. So my other suggestion that maybe you could try to do there, just to see if it can open up in general, if you have another DMR radio, just try to go over one of the simplex frequencies and see if it will open up from radio to radio as opposed to from radio to hotspot. If it's still not opening up from radio to radio, then it can transmit on it, and you can receive it one way, but you can't still get that the squelch to open up there. Yeah, you may have a bad build.
Excellent suggestion, Frank. It's probably the best way to test it out, radio to radio.
I agree, and I did that first actually. I can talk on the Baofeng to my Anytone directly by simplex without any issues. So again, I'm stumped. I'd hate to think it's a bad write on TiStar, I didn't work from a fresh install. I started it up and upgraded, but that's never been a problem in the past, and it's certainly functioning correctly otherwise. So I don't know. I'm talking through the hotspot that I just built for the radio now. Made it public and put my DMR ID in along with its DMR ID, and yeah, I don't know.
Everything with the, let me hand it over to EI6IG there. Sorry, I keep should make sure that this is going around here. I keep sending it right back to Mal. So over to you there, John.
And probably I was jumping in there. Yeah, radio to radio is a great suggestion. Test the radio itself. And if the Anytone is working with the new build, then it's got to be something in the code plug, right? I mean, what else could it be? Vector group.
I do think you're right. And kind of my next step, I think, is I'm gonna make a third code plug, but this time I'm not going to import anything. I'll make it from scratch with maybe just parrot channel and a disconnect and see what I can make happen.
His ID, but that would actually block on transmission, not on receiving. So actually setting up making the hotspot public when it really that would only just allow you to transmit on it, not to receive on it. But, let me hand it back over to you then now, and I'm just wondering if you tried the radio to radio with the vowel thing and the anytone.
Here's the M2 QSB in the group. I did. It works fine, radio to radio, simplex digital mode, and the analog side works fine. And I'm thinking now, I wonder if I inherited something in the code plug. As the code plug I'm working with was built with some imported data, and I'm thinking it through to where maybe I'll just build a new code plug, but it'll just be something super simple. Just pair it and disconnect and see what works.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good there. Just maybe start from scratch, just get a very simple one. Obviously, keep the old one around, just so if you do find out what the setting was or something like that, you don't have to redo a lot of work there. But yeah, it's a very small parrot. Don't import. We don't have to import all the contacts or conflicts or anything else. Very small, and give it a shot, see how it works. So, yeah, that's definitely a puzzling one since radio works, but radio to hotspot doesn't work, and it's on the receive side. It's not the transmit. The transmit side to get into the hotspot might have some other hurdles to jump over, but typically, like as long as you're on frequency and you have you're listening to you have the permissionless mode on, like it'll just receive anything. But all right, yeah, I'm out of ideas there, so let me hand it over to EA6IG, see if he has anything else for you.
No, I think you got it. I mean, if you've gone radio to radio, it works. If you've gone any tone to the hotspot, and it works. But the buffing is not working, then it's got to be the code plug. I mean, what else could it be? That's really what you're down to. So something's goofy in there, that's for sure. It definitely sounds like the code plug. Yeah, I would do that. Set up Parrot, and maybe the USA General, just those two channels, because there's always somebody on 3101, and you just jump in and just look for a radio check after you test your Parrot, and you're probably going to solve it. The biggest problem, of course, is setting up code plugs from scratch. It's pretty time consuming, but other than that, that sounds like that's what you got. I'm curious, what the club stations back in Southern Tier, what do you guys do for a field day back there? to change the subject.
Frank, you want to field that one? When I'm recently moved out of the Southern Tier, I would pal around with the Elmira Amateur Radio Association in the Southern Tier, and we used to meet at Harris Hill, and I would bring my Morse code key. Okay, yeah. I'm just a technician. So I mean, I still go up for summer field day, or at least I used to before Lillian. Right now I have a less than 1 month old, or less than 1 year old. Sorry, she is more than 1 month. She's about 9 months now. She kind of keeps my hands full there, so I haven't attended a winter field day or a summer field day. Is actually coming up pretty short. I do know Harris Hill has. I'm, I can't really speak to all the different rigs and antennas and all the bands that they usually get on, but it seems like they have a good crowd at Harris Hill. Also, the Binghamton Amateur Radio Association. They meet up at Copernic Observatory, and they also have some. They have a few hands in the fire department. I know that they have some large lift where they put some large antennas up in the air there. And there's basically you got some people doing CW in one room over here, and you go outside, and there's other people doing this over here, and other people doing that over there. They run extension cords out, and they do, for logging, they do everything over Wi-Fi. They run an extra router to make sure that people that are outside can get Wi-Fi access and do their logging, and set up some canopies and all that. So it's usually a very good time. It's for either, usually what I did is on Saturday and Sunday. I would take Saturday, I go to the Binghamton Amateur Radio at Copernic, and then on Sunday I go up to Harris Hill and see what's up there. So I know reason now. This is WQFJH to AI6IG.
Yeah, our club gets pretty active in it. We're actually going to be trying some wing stuff too. One of our guys here is very active with Aries in Southern California. We get earthquakes here, and fires, so it's always a big deal to make sure the wingland functions also. And I guess somebody told me that they'd be part of the field day this year, at least with some groups. Back to the group.
Here's N2QSD. Yeah, it is. I've joined in with the Saratoga County, Saratoga Springs Club, and it was very similar to what Frank described. Again, I show up with my Morse code key, and I'm an automatic extra point per contact. So somebody usually makes a hole, and we had a robust networking thing set up. And I've been seeing a lot of Winland chatter lately. I got out my old PNC X to play with and an old Linux laptop, and been trying a little bit, trying to get back into it more here. But as we had just heard, we have a new father in the group, and I bet you Frank's ready to hang it up. And I wanted to say thanks to both of you guys for the little troubleshoot session, and Frank for being our faithful VMR net control operator. So I'll turn it around and for the last go around. Here's N2QSD. Hey, thanks, Mel, for the kind words. And there is just so John knows as well, there is a Frontier digital, I'm drawing a blank here. It's basically a digital glue. There's no digital glue. It's not digital voice. It's actually for HF digital communication. And I'll have to get to. I'll have to find an email. they send me an email every week of what they're doing, and being not a general. I haven't been attending a lot of those next, but they definitely is in
Chemung County area there. There's probably a dozen guys that are very big into the digital HR side of things. So definitely some things to explore there as well. If you were looking to make any contacts or you were going to be in the area there. So. All right, and yes, I gotta head back up and see how mom and baby are doing. So W2 FJH guys in final there. So I hand over to AI6IG.
Yeah, Frank, thanks for doing the net. I mean, it's, I hope to be back there. I keep saying soon. I just don't know when soon is. And, I was a member of the Chemung County group and areas. So I'm familiar with all those guys. I get N2 OJM's email every week still to this day and talk to them once in a while. Yeah, they're a great group of guys back there. I used to get involved with that quite a bit way back when, 25 years ago, quite a while ago. Anyways, yeah, thanks a lot. And we'll talk to you guys next week. AI6IG.
Very good. Best having free to all, and best wishes with the newborn and mom. Hope it's a little cooler tonight. 10-2 QFD is clear.